all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, the stars, the earth, the mountains, the oceans, the valleys, the seas, the clouds, all creeping things, humanity, and all there is. This is Revelations.UNVEILED.DETROIT. Happy, holy Sabbath, family! Once again, we convene and converge in this wonderful consensual assembly of coordinated care, concern, and compassion for the brothers and sisters of the world. We are exposing our cranial universes, bearing forth our souls to receive the holy transmission, the vibration, the communication, the holy salvation of the holy fire and heat of the word of the holy power creator of all imagination. All praises. And family, we are at the 68th edition, volume, episode, installment, gathering of the Sabbath Wisdom series, a testament of our durability and determination for that soul's salvation. And to the 12 tribes of the house of Israel scattered abroad to the four corners of earth, my continuous petitions in prayer for your care, safety, solace, and serenity, as well as the brothers and sisters of the world, the melanated and Moors, the original man and children of God, the sovereigns and sojourners, the copper-colored, the colored, and people of color, the aboriginals and indigenous, the natives, Negroes, and niggas, the aboriginals and Egyptians, the African Americans and blacks, the descendants of slaves, and those conquered and colonized. Oh yes, family, we are blessed as we convene in peace, love, joy, comfort, and safety to give reverence and glory to the holy power for his gift to us for another 7 days of the gift of breath and life. And so we shall resume with the wonderful meaning and the mission of our being here at the Revelations.UNVEILED.DETROIT Den, where we are coming back into the review and remembrance of our holy hidden history of the nation of mystery, us, those, we, the descendants of those brought here in captivity and bondage and served over centuries under the oppressive system of white supremacy. And as our brothers and sisters who are in the old world, scattered to the eastern portions of the world, we all suffered the same fates of the cursings of the covenant. And so we shall reach forth in humble submission to our holy power as we come back to that covenant. So we will resume being that peculiar treasure to the holy power creator of all, and we shall be the children of light in habitation on the earthly plane. All praises. And so we shall visit the Revelations.UNVEILED.DETROIT channel standards in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Followed by our second heavenly eternal standard in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8, in reference to the holy anointed, the counselor, the wonderful, the Savior, the King of Israel, whom the world refers to as Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. And as we continue to learn and discern, we employ the tool of Holy Brother Prophet Isaiah in his scroll of the 28th chapter, verses 9 through 11. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. Yes, family. And as we are now settling into the soft space of the place, we gather the hands of our fellow beings of light, and we sit at the knee in wisdom, getting ready to dine at the divine manna, bread, meat, and wine. And in our previous episode, we saw that Nebuchadnezzar was coming in and stirring up, and he has taken prisoner the holy family of the tribe of Judah, and have taken the nobles and the artisans and the millers and the grinders and all those of skill into captivity into the land of Babylon. And now Nebuchadnezzar is in rule of all the earth. And there was left a King Zedekiah, an evil king amongst the poor people of the land of Judea. And so, family, we are at the final chapter of the book of 2 Kings, and we will then begin the chronicles of the royalty of the nation. And so we shall see now what will become of the holy ones under the Babylonian captivity. And we began the book of 2 Kings, chapter 25, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, and in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon came, he and all his host against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and they built forts against it round about. And the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between two walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldees were against the city round about, and the king went the way toward the plain. And the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king, and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army were scattered from him. So they took the king, and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. And they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters of brass, and carried him to Babylon. Woo, family. And so now we see the actual siege of the holy royalty of the nation of Judah. And they have destroyed the sons of King Zedekiah, and pierced his eyeballs, and bound him into chains. And thus begins our travail amongst the Chaldees. Verse 8. And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of the king of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. And he burnt the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem. And every great man's house burnt he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldees that were with the captain of the guard broke down the walls of Jerusalem round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city, and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon, with the remnant of the multitude, did Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carry away. So, family, this high officer of the military has come in and created desolation in the land of Judea, and has carried away the remnant of the people. But the captain of the guard left the poor of the land to be vine dressers and husbandmen. and the pillars of brass that were in the house of the Lord, and the bases, and the brazen sea that was in the house of the Lord, did the Chaldees break in pieces, and carried the brass of them to Babylon, and the pots, and the shovels, and the snuffers, and the spoons, and all the vessels of brass wherewith they ministered, they took away, and the fire pans, and the bowls, and such things as were of gold, in gold, and of silver, in silver, the captain of the guard took away. The 2 pillars, 1 sea, and the bases, which Solomon had made for the house of the Lord, the brass of all these vessels was without weight. The height of 1 pillar was 18 cubits, and the chapiter upon it was brass, and the height of the chapiter 3 cubits, and the wreathen work, and pomegranates upon the chapiter round about, all of brass. And like unto these had the 2nd pillar with wreathen work. And the captain of the guard took Sariah, the chief priest, and Zephaniah, the 2nd priest, and the keepers of the door. And out of the city he took an officer that was set over the men of war, and 5 men of them that were in the king's presence, which were found in the city, and the principal scribe of the host, which mustered of the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land that were found in the city. And Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, took these and brought them to the king of Babylon to Riblah. And the king of Babylon smote them and slew them at Riblah in the land of Hamath. So Judah was carried away out of their land. And as for the people that remained in the land of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had left, even over them he made Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, the ruler. And when all the captains of the armies, they and their men, heard that the king of Babylon had made Gedaliah governor, there came to Gedaliah to Mizpah even Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and Johanan, son of Sariah, and Sariah, son of Tanhumeth, the Netophathite, and Jezaniah, the son of Maacathite, they and their men. And Gedaliah sware to them and to their men, and said unto them, Fear not to be servants of the Chaldees. Dwell in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well with you. But it came to pass in the 7th month that Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, the son of Elishama, of the seed royal, he came, and 10 men with him, and smote Gedaliah, and he died. And the Jews and the Chaldees that were with him at Mizpah, and all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the armies arose and came to Egypt, for they were afraid of the Chaldees. And it came to pass in the 37th year of the captivity of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, in the 12th month, on the 27th day of the month, that evil Merodach, king of Babylon, in the year that he began to reign, did lift up the head of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, out of prison. And he spoke kindly to him, and he set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garments. And he did eat bread continually before him all his days. And his allowance was a continual allowance given him to the king of a daily rate every day. all the days of their life. All praises. That was kind of rough, family. That chapter encompassed war and brutality and maiming and dismembering and treachery and tribute and setting up puppet thrones. So we see that Nebuchadnezzar came into the land and had his host destroy and make desolate the land of Jerusalem, and the royal seed and the nobles and the artisans and the grand ones and the priests were taken back into Babylon, and some were killed and many fled. But the brother that was taken of the holy brother Josiah, the good king, the last good king of Judah, who was taken away by a pharaoh of the Egyptian, he was restored to throne by a king of Babylon further in the future after Nebuchadnezzar's death. So what an interesting twist, family, where we see a king of Babylon has returned and raised up a former royal of the house of Judah. And so we shall continue, and in our next episode we shall begin the chronicles of the royal court of the house of Israel and the house of Judah. We shall become familiar and reaffirm our esteem of our holiness within this world and within the secular history that we shall expand upon, both spiritually and intellectually. And so, family, stay tuned for the second part of the Sabbath Wisdom series, where we shall continue with the dark parables, the saying, the similitudes, and the metaphors given to Holy Brother Prophet Hosea, as well as the songs of solace from Holy Brother Prophet King David. So stay tuned. We shall continue.